Hey, it's Miguel, aka Miggy420, your friendly neighborhood cannabis activist. Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining me. You can tell I'm a little different today. Gonna keep this on just for the intents and purpose of what I'm about to talk about. Uh, yeah, stay tuned to the end. That way, I can tell you how to get some Boveda packs if you're interested. But let's get to it. So let me see if I can share this. There we go. Let's talk about the prison system and cannabis prisoners. That's such a wonderful topic to talk about. First off, let me point out that the reason why I have any notoriety and people know who I am is because I'm always helping prisoners and people in trouble. I mean, it's why I'm here, but it's also not the sexiest or funnest or it's not fun at all, man. It's when I would volunteer at booths for prisoners, you're trying to draw people in, get their signatures, and you're like, hey, welcome to the most depressing booth in all of whatever pot event you're at, because everybody else is like, ooh, dabs. And you're like, hey, this guy's locked up. But hey, let's talk about prisoners, man. Hey, Tom. So here's a video from Alabama. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Some people have before. And this guy, first off, cell phones do make it behind bars. And this guy is showing the conditions that they're facing in this Alabama prison, which, I mean, under just the guidelines of the CDC, they can never meet. So right off the bat, prisons are a hotbed of disease, a culture dish. They're just waiting to spread it amongst each other. That's it right there. And a pot prisoner doesn't deserve a death sentence, period. A pot prisoner doesn't deserve to be behind bars, period. But, here we are. So DOJ, Department of Justice, put out some guidelines for early releases. And they're very vague. And I put the link in below. But the biggest fucked up one is they got to serve at least 50% of their sentence. And that means like people like our friend Lance Glore, who's serving 10 years for pot, and he's on his his fourth year. He's on his fourth year behind bars for having a pot store. So he doesn't meet that requirement, which is a damn shame. So I left a link there so you can go over what the wonderful Bill Barr has said as far as like, here are the requirements. There's a link in that article that breaks down the no incidents in the last 12 months. I mean, just a lot of this shit is just bullshit. I mean, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, as an American citizen, this is all bullshit, man. So let's keep on going. I also included a link. So I'm going to be referencing the links that I put in there. And then this is only for you to do your own research. I'm just here to, point you in a direction. And if we can all get together and tell the government how pissed off we are, maybe we'll make a difference. I mean, it has happened. I've helped people, I've helped reduce sentences. I've helped get sentences taken away. I mean, it's a long story. But anyways, so this one here is an article by Craig Cecil, who's presently serving time behind bars, a life sentence at that, or a death sentence if you really want to think about it that way. In here, he talks about how he's just befuddled about the sitting behind bars as cannabis has been marked as an essential business, which is fucking nuts. And then here's the go-getter right here, folks. This is the one that'll break your heart and piss you off all at the same time. So Craig he's had a beef with the warden of the Terre Haute prison in Indiana for years. There seems to be a constantly pissing contest with the Terre Haute. And so here he talks to Sherry Sicard in an email saying he got approved. He got approved for release. Yay! Craig Cecil got approved for release. But the fucking warden stopped it. So with that, I put the link for the message here, but also he included, hey, let's tell Bill Barr, and here's how we can help. Writing your congressman, writing the prisons, these guys, there's somebody on the other end of this that has to read all this shit, annotate it, and receive it as a record. And that person at the end of the day is going to get pissed receiving and writing things, and talks to the people at home like, hey man, I don't understand why all these people are writing for this one guy, and so forth and so on. Now, this has caused problems for prisoners, Craig Cecil being one of them, where hundreds of people speak out on their behalf because he needs insulin. He's a sick man behind bars, aging, of course. And when people speak up for him, for one, the guards don't like it. The wardens don't like it. It makes them look bad. So, and honestly, fuck them. Write them, reach out, and help out. That's all I can say on that one. And that is the Cornbread Mafia. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with that story, and I'll break into a little bit here. This is the prison where the leader of the Cornbread Mafia, Johnny Boone, is at. I talked to Johnny Boone's niece the other day, and she commented on how he was approved for release, but hasn't been released yet. And then I think this is going to be a constant issue for cannabis prisoners is, they're going to be stuck in this perpetual queue of not getting out. And so I've also included Johnny Boone's story, so you can kind of look him out. The guy was a gangster, man. I mean, it's unfortunate, though, he had to be a gangster because there's nothing gangster about cannabis, I included a link. There's a book on him, so you can check out the author if you want to learn more about the what's going on as far as what reasons why. Anyways, and then the next link I included was the Prison Policy Initiative. You can find lots of prison websites that help follow conditions in the prisons and what's going on. So this one I included. They talk about how different prisons, as of today, Clark County, Nevada released 115 people with the dates and whatnot. So there's different ways you can monitor what's going on in the prison. What you can't monitor, and this is the hard part, and this is another what you can do while you're at home sitting in quarantine and how you can help out besides writing your governor, your congressman, the Department of Justice, write the prisoners, right? You're sitting in quarantine. You're frustrated. I understand. Maybe you've lost your job, but these guys are sitting in by 6x6 boxes, and they have no choice. They have no life. This is why this is so angry and so vehemently fucked up, right? So one website I put on there is the Human Solution International. These cats are very organized, and they're always trying to do something. Like presently right here in this letter writing campaign, they're working on Danny Trevino's case. This guy was a caregiver in Michigan, of all fucking states, a recreational legal state, right? How are you going to arrest somebody in a recreational legal state? But that happened within the past year. So now they're trying to rally the troops and get support for him. But along those lines too, you can also do pen pals. Now that one on this website, I'm not sure how to navigate because they've changed a lot since I've last gone here. So I've also included Freedom Grow has their still does the pen pal issues. So that's one thing you can do. Reach out to Freedom Grow. And now here's the problem with cannabis activist groups. Sometimes everybody has really good intentions, but sometimes things break up. So we have also Freedom Grow Forever. So there was a squabble. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it with anybody. I don't have time to argue about semantics because the whole thing is people are sitting behind bars and it's all bullshit, right? Like the more I semantic over you about who owns a website or who gets credit for something, it's just bullshit, right? In the end, let's just get rid of the drug war. Let's get everybody home and we can get on with our fucking lives. But so that's that. So you got Freedom Grow Forever. And the next one is POW 420. Now this website is again another casualty of people butting heads and again, the activism is hard. You're out there, you're chanting, it's stressing. I mean, the prisoner's part sucks balls. It's life draining. You see someone who's perfectly innocent and yet they are still prosecuting gone behind. When I was at Lance Gore's trial and they pulled the evidence out, tons and tons of just boxes full of weed and not just weed, moldy weed, because it was sitting in what do you call it? The evidence locker or whatever for years. And that was unfortunate. I mean, either way, got arrested, but I mean, the evidence that was presented was the evidence of a store, period. There was no narco shit, just weed. So it was very sad. But here on PW 420, you can go to either the state, you can go to cannabis prisoners overall. I'll take you there. But you can go to the state. Now, the information in this site is not all up to date. This is why I'm saying I point you in a direction so you can do some research. Some of these people are free, but they're all pot prisoners. This website in particular, I know that the two people behind it were button heads. So in us, it's just hard, right? There's no national database where we can reach out and say, hey, who is in jail for pot? There's not. And that's the unfortunate part. There are so many people behind bars, and it gets so exhausting. So if you can take the minute, try and find somebody you can reach out to, write to them behind bars, let them know that, yeah, you're a human being too. And then if you can, write your congressman, write their congressman, let them know, like, hey, I think this person behind bars needs to be free. Now, that's all depressing, fucked up shit. And I'm always just kind of like downtrodden most of the time when I talk about cannabis, because this is all I fucking do. I try and like help people behind bars, right? But I want to leave on a good note, because there's always good notes somehow in cannabis. And I mean, this has nothing to do with prisoners, but there's a new show on Netflix that is my new favorite, and that's the cooked with cannabis. I mean, it's a great show, and it's just crazy to think about how Netflix has a fucking show that's quality show, but yet we have people serving behind in time for weed. So I'm just throwing it out there. Let's help. Let's try and get these guys home, these non-violent fucking people. Until next time, guys, peace. I'll see you guys Tuesday with Tom. Oh shit, I forgot